What made you come forward to actually share your experience about being a juror in this high-profile case?
I actually want to give a message to the family, make them understand that, or at least hear us out saying it's not our fault that Karen Reed was innocent. I mean, the Commonwealth and the investigation couldn't actually prove and show evidence enough to make us convict her of anything. So I want to come out to let them know that we feel for them. Like, I personally feel for them a lot. I'm a mother, and it broke my heart to see the family leaving the courthouse on that day. But it wasn't her fault, and I hope they find who did it.
Let's talk about the verdict and how you guys came to this conclusion.
At first, most of us were on the same page pretty much. We were shocked with so many holes the case presented to us. But there was some people who had questions, and we were there those 4 days to answer those questions. Were like heated argument, like, oh my God, we disagree and everything? No. But we had some disagreements about this evidence X or Y, and we talked through it. We were very respectful of each other, and we came out to the agreement.
Was there any particular evidence that you guys were really stumped on?
For me, specifically the taillight, we all took a look close to the taillight, and we couldn't make the taillight, the damage on the taillight, the original taillight, compatible with the injuries on his body. Mm-hmm. So having a close look of the taillight helped me a lot, and I'm sure the other jurors too.
And that solidified it?
Yeah.
And you mentioned who might have done this. I know David Yannetti, her attorney, said, there's somebody else out there that is responsible. Do you have any ideas who could be responsible, or do you feel the same way as you sort of suggested you do?
Yeah, I think something happened inside the house and he was placed outside. So whoever was inside the house, we didn't hear from the owner of the house or Brian Higgins, who allegedly had some sort of, involvement with Karen Reed days prior. So, the spotlight for me is on them. Mm-hmm. But I can't say, just like they can't prove that was Karen Reed, I can't prove it was any of the people in the house.
Can you quickly clarify what happened when you guys came out with a verdict and then said, oh, actually no verdict? There was a little point.
Yeah, we had some questions about the sleep and how to...
Oh, the slip.
Yeah, if we did right.
Got it.
And we sent back, and we didn't even send back, was in a deliberation room with us, but then because the judge knew that we had the verdict, she asked to seal the paper and bring it to her.
Is that the situation where she came back and said there was a verdict, and then less than 30 minutes later? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked maybe, I think, an hour more, and then we came with the other verdict.
What were you guys split on, and how many of you guys were split on certain parts of this verdict?
I think, we're half and half as when we first got there. Like last Friday we didn't do anything. We were just like, we all want to talk, put it out, because too many days without talking about it. And Monday we start to look into the evidence, the witnesses and the videos and the taillight close. And we're kind of like half and a half, and we had to see which questions, what make you be guilty, what make you feel not guilty for this charge and the other charge. And wasn't that hard, I think. I think we are very respectful. We heard, and everybody left feeling that they did the right thing.
And how has your life changed since you've been part of this experience? I know it's still pretty early after, but has anything changed about your viewpoint toward justice or the justice system?
Yeah.
Since then?
So a lot of people were raising this thing, oh, she's an attorney, she shouldn't be a jury, and this and that. Just clarifying, I am an attorney from Brazil. My license is in Brazil. I never work in the U.S. I can't practice in the U.S. And I didn't lie when they chose me to be a jury. And nothing changed so far. I did like to be part of this because for me, most of the time I'm a mom. I do have a part-time job, but from home because I have to take care of my kids. So being out every day, being there every day, getting this routine of working outside the house, actually I really enjoy it. And being in a courtroom made me feel like the old days when I was young. So the change was just my personal opinion about like what I'm gonna do next. But overall, I'm just waiting for summer to start and take my kids out and get this behind. And just I'm gonna keep following close because I want to see what's gonna happen. I want to see what's the DA gonna do next. I didn't have a chance to check the news and if they said anything.
I am so curious about this. When did you realize the gravity of this case? Obviously, you didn't know anything going into jury duty, but when was that point that you really realized, oh wow, we just made a decision and it was this big? It was the Karen Reed case.
When I heard the people outside last Wednesday, because I didn't know there was that amount of people outside. As we drive every day, we could see some people in pink, and I didn't know pink was her color. I had a bunch of pink shirts, and then I stopped using them because I don't want to give a vibe. But I had no clue. There were, I don't know, hundreds of people outside. It was that of a big movement. And Aiden, Turtle Boy, I never heard about him before that. So I saw that he was very involved in this and I recognized him from court. So I started looking into his work or his advocacy, I don't know. And yeah, I didn't know it was that big. I mean, the judge said when she was picking us for the jury poll, it's a media case, it's a big case, but I had no clue that big, like national big.
Right. So when you were sitting in the courtroom, when the verdict came down,
when
what
I heard
was
people
going through your mind, and what did you hear in there?
I heard just the people outside, and that's when I started crying, because that people outside made the family of John O'Keefe feel very sad, just hearing that. So that moment broke my heart. And then, I don't know, I just hope they find justice.
Is there anything that you would say to the O'Keefes if you saw them?
Yes, please keep fighting. We really don't think it was Karen Reed. The investigation was floppy. Believe that. Look at yourself, and keep fighting to find who did this to him, because he seemed to be a very nice guy. His niece testified, friends testify, and we had no doubt that was unnecessary death. But it wasn't Karen Reed, and let's find who did it.
Do you think the investigation was just sloppy, or could it be a potential cover-up with the police because he was a police officer?
I'm not going to say it's a cover-up, but was a sloppy effort. I would keep just being like sloppy and lazy, I would say too. But if it was a cover-up, let's find out.
Is there something that really stood out when you were listening to some of the testimony? Like, wow, when you say sloppy or lazy, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
No reports. Like nobody made like an official report of like the GPS location of the evidence 1, 2, 3. Oh yeah, the ring camera disappeared. Oh yeah, no, this moment, like 2 minutes, we don't have the recording anymore. So all those coincidences doesn't make sense.
And
did you guys ever talk about the dog or potential dog bites or anything like that?
We mentioned, I mean, you mean deliberation?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we mentioned the dog, but not much. I mean, I think that's looked like a dog bite, but because it wasn't presented to us, like more information about the dog and everything, we put our opinions aside and just, focus on the evidence that was actually there.
did you always believe, or do you believe that Karen Reed is innocent, and did you always believe that from the moment you stepped in to be a juror to the moment that you walked?
No, I didn't know about the case, so when I first started, I thought maybe manslaughter because of the drink thing, that she was under influence overall. And but after the weeks passed by and the witnesses, and I just couldn't make her guilty.
Was there like a turning point, like a aha moment where you're like, okay, maybe she's not?
The Commonwealth witness judge, I forgot his name, Judge Welcher?
Yeah, Derek.
Dr. Welcher.
Dr. Welcher.
Yeah. So Dr. Welcher, car accident reconstruction, seemed a little off, and wow, they couldn't even prove that. So that moment was maybe an aha moment. Mm-hmm. And when ARCA came in and gave us such a good accident reconstruction to us, made sense.
Interesting. Is there anything else?
So before this trial, so last year, You never heard of the Karen Reed trial before?
No, I moved here February last year, so I think you guys were talking a lot about it. I saw billboards, I saw some yard signs, free Karen Reed, but I was never curious to look to see what was it. I love crime, I love true crime, to listen to podcasts, but mainly in Brazil, mainly things that happens over there. So I'm not involved with the social media, local news in the US. So I really didn't know much about Karen Reed. I just know her face and her billboard.
Interesting. Yeah. And what did you think about her presence in the courtroom? I know people have looked at her as like kind of cool, calm, collected, or showing little emotion at times. So I don't know what your perception of her is or was or how it evolved.
I did expect more emotion. I was looking like she doesn't cry, she doesn't move, she's just so calm and so present. But she was fighting for her life, and I'm not judging. It's the way that she found herself in that horrible situation, and she needed to fight. And so good for her that she had the presence to do that.